Morning, everyone, and welcome to our workshop today. Thank you so much for joining us. So my name is Hafsa Sheikh from Smart Light, and today our workshop is going to focus on the importance of business planning. And I have to admit, what with the government announcing all these last minute changes and the work from home announcement that was made again last night, I think it gives us all that space and time. So personally, I think this workshop has come at a very timely time for us. So today, my role in this is simply to facilitate the workshop. So as I say, I'll be letting people into the room. And if you've got any questions as well, then I would, of course, encourage you to put those in the chat panel too. Our workshop today is going to be hosted by Rahib, who is one of our associate trainers. Rahib now in his day job is actually an accountant. So absolutely delighted to welcome Rahib today to share his knowledge and insights with us on how we can all go about getting the perfect business plan. And obviously, as I said, it's a great time to be looking at this, particularly in light of the new COVID announcements, but also because we have got a Christmas break coming up. And yes, it is a time to, take some time out, chill, relax, but also a time to be looking forward to the next year and how and what we want to change with our business, with our lives. So just a few ground rules before we make a start. I'm going to ask everyone to switch your cameras and mics off. And obviously, if you have got a question in our question time, then please do ensure that you put your mics on for that and your cameras as well. We are recording today's workshop, and part of that reason is that we will then be able to send the recording out to delegates as well, to use as a reminder and something to reflect on at a later stage as well. So without further ado, one other thing I also want to mention before we get started is I've already started posting things in the chat panel. One of the things I've posted is a feedback form, so a link to the feedback form. I will remind you all about that a bit later on, but if you can, please just click on that at the end and give us some feedback. We would be really grateful. And also we have our final workshop next week. So please do make sure you sign up for that as well. And that workshop is looking at metrics. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Rahib, our host today. Assalamu alaikum and welcome, Rahib.
Also, thank you for the introduction. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's doing great, keeping warm in this lovely weather. And let's get started today without ado, because I think we're a bit late. I hope everybody can see my screen that I've shared. Today, we're going to be talking about business plan, writing a business plan, what it means, what it includes, and what are the elements of a good business plan. You can be at any stage of your journey when you're running a business. It's always good to have a business plan in hand. Let's say if you're starting up, it will provide you a starting point, a framework, a blueprint to guide you ahead so that you can come back and review it whenever you need to. If you are running a business, it helps going back to the business plan just to see what were your concepts, what were your objectives, why did you start, have you achieved them, or maybe review it and try to tweak it and change it to take, like nowadays we can see COVID affecting a lot of businesses, being told to work from home, shut down business premises, those sort of changes. So it will give you a glimpse and to sit down and think what can be positive and what can be negative out of these things. But it will depend if you have a business plan written down. But if you don't, and if you just work on from top of your head, it will be quite difficult to just go back and see what were you thinking or what you had in mind if you have not written it down. But let's move on. As you can see, this is a template for business that we're going to just be looking at. We're going to be talking through. Hope everybody can see my screen. So let's discuss what is a business plan and why would you need a business plan, let's say. A business plan is needed, let's say, if you're starting up or if you have already started up, it could be used to get a loan, raising funds, fixing business objectives. Let's say when you started in a different market structure, and now you have evolved in your business, and right now you can't do what you plan to do when you started your business. Let's say you want to tweak your objectives, you want to change, you want to turn the direction of the business. It will help for you to edit your business plan again. You want to review your business idea. What, let's say when you started your business, you had an idea, but it has evolved now. It's not what you started with. It has changed, because as you grow and continue in your business, things happen and you have to adapt to those changes. So it will help you keep in track to see how you have changed from where you started from or where you're headed now. It can also help to resolve agreement between parties. Let's say if you're a partnership, it will help to go back and just review how you started business, why you started business, and what brought the two parties together, just to make sure they're on the same page and they don't, there are no conflicts going forward. It also helps to put a value on business, to give an idea what the business is about, how much it should be worth, and how much it can be worth. An open-ended question, because it's a business plan, it will look at the positive future growth. And let's say if you're starting a new product line, it will help you again as well, seeing what services or products you are already offering. And let's say if you can adjust and add or tweak your new products and services according to your old customer database. So it's a good starting point to see how and where you can take your business if you have already a business plan set in place. Let's jump on to the next slide. Now, a business plan consists of a mission statement, just to be on a very concise point. A mission statement is also called an executive summary. It's basically a very concise and short-worded statement which will give people an idea what you want to do, why do you want to do it, and how you want to do it. It will provide description of your products and services, and why should customers choose you over other people? What's the difference between people coming to you instead of your competitors? You need to be able to provide them with such a service that obviously they're going to choose you over their other competitors. So that is a unique selling point that you need to proposition. And that will depend when you start building up your business plan, because you will need to think about it. Why would people come to your organization, your business, and not go to the other one? You need to provide them with some sort of value. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Have you got any questions?
Yeah, Rahib, I really like the idea of putting the mission statement right at the outset of the business plan. Because in my mind, I always thought that those were two very separate things. But I like how you've said, actually, that the mission statement actually puts your values and why you exist and what you want to do right as the opening paragraph.
Yes, the reason behind this is, well, if let's say you need to think about from your, let's say your reader's point of view as well. Let's say if you're going to a bank, think about it this way: a bank manager is going to be sitting and he's going to be looking at a lot of applications for loans. So he's going to be going through a lot of paperwork, and he's obviously not going to read the whole file you give it to him. So when you put a mission statement on start, and they can see and they can make a quick decision, okay, does this seem valuable? Is it going to work? And they can see some sort of quick thing from here that think, okay, this should be looked into. But that's something why you should put a mission statement first, because at the end of the day, if you push it across, they're not going to go through, let's say, page number 5 or 4. If they don't like page number 2, if they get onto page number 1 and they don't have enough time, but let's say whatever you put in is enough to give them an idea what you're about, what you're trying to solve, how much value there is, if you can make money, and those sort of just very concise details, that will give them an idea just to think about your business at the end of the day, because they've gone most of their information out of it without even reading through the whole business plan. But let's say once they like it, then they will sit down and read through your business plan, because they've already made a decision that this will work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I'm just checking the chat panel. Nobody else has posted anything yet, or there's a hand up. So yeah, I'll let you carry on then. Thank you.
Perfect. You can also add any specialization, things like location, let's say the location of your business, or any strengths of your big business that it might help you to run it. Let's say it could be your strength as well, because at the end of the day, you're starting up, you're going to be bringing your expertise to the businesses. So that will be an asset for the business. So depends what your core products are, core services are, how you're going to achieve them. It needs to be highlighted in your mission statement and give a glimpse of what you're trying to offer. Basically the third party, it could be a bank, it could be an investor, you could be looking for a business partner, anything. It will give them an idea what or who they are trying to work with and what you're trying to achieve. Hope that helps. Let's jump on to slide number 2. On this template, as you can see, this company has put in pictures of their team members, and team members, again, make up the business. This is the team that is behind the business. They run the business. They're the face of the business. So whatever these guys are, whoever these guys are, they are the business. Let's say they're chunks of business. So however good they are, the business is going to be good. Now think about it. In this business plan, you're presenting this to across people. So you would need to tell them about, who works in your team, what are their qualifications, what benefits they bring to your business, why are they such an asset? And basically, you're kind of trying to promote them as well, because they are part of your business. So it helps having them on there, telling people roughly how big your team is. If it's good, telling them how good your team is so that they gain confidence. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people wouldn't want to work with a newbie who has no experience in a field or is not qualified enough. So it's better to tell people exactly who you're working with, what you bring to the table, and what you're comprised of. Has anybody got any questions on this?
Rahib, I'm going to just ask a very quick question on that. So here we've got the titles and the names of the individuals who make up the team. Would you also use the opportunity to write a very short, I don't know, a couple of lines bio about the individuals? Because you mentioned there about, promoting them and using their expertise and selling that as well as part of it. But would you take the opportunity of writing it as part of your business plan?
I would, you know what? That's a very good idea. You should do that, but it shouldn't be too long, because at the end of the day, we don't want to give a big bio for these people. But then again, we don't want to miss out their highlighted achievements, the biggest things about them. Let's say, let me show you page number 2, which consists of this team as well. As you can see in this plan, they have shown how the team operates as well, like roughly what is the structure. It's a vertical business structure showing there are a lot of people and the power stimulated at the top. So that way you can see the positions, and let's say the marketing manager manages 3 people, a human resources, a copywriter, and a project manager. And then all these 3 in turn manage again 3 people. So again, giving us a small insight of what the person does. Again, we can have, let's say, like in the previous slide, we can have the descriptions here prominently because these are the heads of their departments. And on the second screen, like let's say Taylor Phillips is the marketing manager, and all of they won't need that much details, because let's say if we start giving details of all the employees in the business, it will take a lot of pages. And then again, too much pages, just people don't read nowadays. They don't have enough time, so they just need concise and proper data.
Great. Okay.
All right. Has anybody else got any questions?
Okay, there's nothing in the chat yet.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, we can also provide like brief job descriptions just so that, people have general idea. Again, just the other bits over again, not to get confused and not to provide them too much information in that sense. Let's jump on to the next page. This is interesting. This is market summary. This will depend on what and how you conduct your market research, because any business that whatever you want to do, you would need to do some sort of research and know what market you're going to be operating in. You would need to know how big your market is, what are the trends, what are the key influences on demand, which segments you want to try, and why do you want to try those segments. At the end of the day, you will need to provide good reasons to have whoever is going to be looking at this plan, so that you can convince them whatever plan or whatever business idea you have, it's workable and you have thought through the whole thing to the end. Because in the market, you're going to be then focusing on customers, who your customers will be, what kind of customers are you going to approach, how and why will they buy from you, let's say, and what are their buying habits, preferences, their frequency, how long and how quickly do they buy, or if they get bored of products. So you would need to have customer base and customer market. Then again, in market, you would need to focus on your competitors as well. At the end of the day, whichever business you operate in, you are going to have competitors unless you're starting a new industry from scratch, which can be quite difficult. But well, whatever we do, we will have competitors. And looking at competitors is very good way of doing research, because at the end of the day, they're already in business. You can go, you can see what product or services they offer, what are their prices, how successful they are, like their performance sizes, financial performance, business size and market reputation, those sort of things. They will give you an idea how successful the business is. You can also focus on their strengths and weaknesses to see what core strengths they're playing on, or let's say if they have any weaknesses, maybe you can offer an alternative or play on those weaknesses and provide some sort of new product or service so that you can capture that market, because you already know that competitor has a weakness. And let's say the main question is, what will make you stand out from your competitor at the end of the day? Because when a customer makes a decision, they will look at you and competitor, and there needs to be a reason why should they pick you over the other business. Has anybody got any questions? Good.
No, nothing from me.
Lovely. And like I said, over here on this screen market summary, you will need to put in your research. Now, the research can be primary or secondary, depends how you want to conduct it. Primary research would be done through your direct customers, either by questionnaire, asking them stuff, what they want, what do you want to change in your services or products, in that sense. While secondary sources are newspaper articles, magazines, other people's research, or other businesses. All those sort of researches are secondary, and you can use that data to show, let's say, if it works with your business. Let me just think of an idea. Yeah. If you can see, let's say, the global prices are going to bump up on a certain product, and you can already forecast it, you already know that when you launch a product, it's going to have a higher price than what currently is in the market. So you can predict the price going up already. So this is something, let's say, you would already know beforehand, because you're in that industry and you can forecast, okay, the prices are going to rise up. Let's say we can look at oil prices when OPEC decides to, cap the oil production and keep prices steady. That in turn pushes the prices high, because they're not increasing the supply at the end of the day. So, and it's pretty basic economics. When there's a higher supply of higher goods, the prices drop. And then when the supply is low and the demand is high, the prices just go up. If that makes sense to people.
Right, just a quick question here.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned about doing the market research. I do know that there are people on this call today who are setting up their own online businesses.
Okay.
So would you still do that market research and attach that as part of the business plan?
Yes, you would need to, because you would need to show people that you have interacted with your customer, if you have talked to people, and what kind of feedback you're getting at the end of the day. Because if you don't approach your market and try and test your product before going out, like going to an investor, or let's say a banker or whoever you want to go to, they won't have any idea how the market is going to react to you. If we just launch a new product and we spend a lot of money on it, we develop it, and without testing it in the market, if we just launch it out, we won't know exactly how people are going to react, whether they're going to like it, whether they're not going to like it. And especially when, let's say, a huge amount of capital is involved, it's always safe to know the reaction and test and try it before even going out completely into the market. Because let me give you guys an example. Let's say we all watch TV series, we all watch TV shows, right? I'm sure a lot of people know, but let me just recap it. All the TV shows that are made, first, they just make a pilot episode just to see how the audience reacts, if they're going to like it, if you know, they would love to see more of it, another season or maybe 2 seasons. But let's say if they get very negative reviews, people don't like it, maybe emotional, whatever, it gets scrapped. Nobody puts money into it because at the end of the day, they know if they make that production for like 10 episodes or whatever, it's going to be down, it's going to go down the drain because nobody's going to watch it. Even if they watch it, they're going to hate it and it's just bad reputation. For startups, I know the question does come to mind, okay, how do I do market research? I don't have customers and those sort of things. It would depend, like, you know, when you start with thinking, okay, I want to start this, I want to start a business or whatever, you might start with a website or you might start with a Facebook page, a Twitter page, and start to get more customers. Or it could be a localized business, like just local people within your neighborhood that you're dealing with. It depends. Let's say if you're an online business, you can have polls, talk to people who have liked your page just to see what they're interested in, what they want to do. And let's bring it down. If it's in the locality, you can physically talk to them. You can physically hand out questionnaires just to see what feedback they give you. Because if we don't interact, we can't get the data to make our decisions on, because this is how we're getting that data from people. Whatever they respond to, we're going to take it into account and then it's going to affect our decision. Help?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Rahib, for that. Yes.
No worries. Let's jump on the next one. Should be fun. Opportunities. Some of you might have heard of SWOT analysis, and some of you might have not. So let me just give you what SWOT analysis is. SWOT is SWOT: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Like on this template, we have opportunities. You can do a SWOT analysis, so completely put strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in a page. Depends how you want to present it, but always include one of these things at least, or if you want to, all 4 of them, because it will just give more credibility to your business plan, because it will show you have taken the time and research and spent time on it, looked at your business carefully, seen where it can go, seen what differences it can make with the threats and weaknesses. So it will help you a lot. Now let me walk you through what is SWOT. So let's say in this section, like we can see opportunities, we can read market gap. Let's say this company focuses on a market gap, a section of market that nobody has exploited yet, and they think they can utilize that gap and pull in customer for that gap. So that is a good opportunity for this business. Let's say the second one is customers. 66% of US customers spend money on multiple products and only partially resolve the issue. So basically they're looking for a product that completely solves a lot of problems. Instead of getting 10 products for 10 different problems, 1 product for 10 problems. So concising and building a good product, not just another one that just take care of one product. Okay, financials. Millennials account for about a quarter of the 48 billion spent on other products. So basically, they will be targeting millennials, people born after 2000s and 1999, meaning they are not good with their money, but according to this, it's not my personal opinion. I'm just reading it out. Costs, loss of productivity costing customers thousands of dollars. Productivity is a interesting topic. It's relevant. It can be discussed on a large scale. So it will depend how they want to talk, like basically cut down costs on productivity. It can be capital intensive, meaning using machinery to bring down costs, but that will require a lot of capital investment at the start because machinery is not cheap. Other bit is going labor intensive. If they go labor intensive, labor is usually cheaper than material, but controlling productivity can be a headache on labor intensive market, but that will depend on the type of businesses. Again, usability. Customers want something that is easy to use. Again, depends on your business model and your client base, who you're dealing with and how well do they want it. Let's say younger generation is more adaptable to technology and they can pick up things very quickly. So you wouldn't need to, train them and spend time with them, teaching them about new products. But let's say older generations, when they see new tech, it takes them time to get used to it. it takes time for them to get familiar to it, because at the end of the day, it's new tech and they're not familiar with it, and it's human nature. Whenever we are in a new situation or in an unfamiliar territory, we're a bit closed. We're not that opened up. So it's just human nature. So this is how they have used opportunity page to push their product across. Now, these are opportunities. They could talk about strengths. When you talk about strengths, it will depend on your product or services. What are your biggest strengths? Why would somebody choose you over the other competitor? Why should you stay in the market? And why would you survive in the market, let's say? How long can you survive in the market? For that, you would need some sort of assets in your bag. In that sense, when I say asset, I mean strengths in a sense. Let's say if you are a startup, just a one person starting your business, your asset and your strengths are within you, because you're going to be running the whole business from literally from top bits to the bottom bits. You're going to be running around like a headless chicken. So you would be doing all those things. So all that strength will be located in you. Let's say whatever your qualifications are, whatever your background is, your experiences are, you will bring that to the table on the business, and the business will benefit from your strengths. Now we'll talk about weaknesses. Let's say you just analyze your business and you're locating, okay, what are my weaknesses? Where am I weak? And let's say, where are the loopholes in my businesses? This is a very good exercise at the end of the day, just thinking about how could a competitor take advantage of this thing that I'm not doing or maybe not providing. Or it will also give you an idea to what to look out for and what to expect in the future. Let's say, just in case, let's take an example of a small takeaway. Not even a small chicken shop. Let's say a small chicken shop just selling chicken, but they don't do deliveries. Another chicken shop just opens up across the road and they start offering deliveries. Now, this chicken shop wasn't doing delivery, just serving the customers who walk into the shop, not even pushing their marketing. Well, another person just saw that, okay, they're doing good business, but they don't do deliveries. That's their weaknesses. Let's say they couldn't manage their delivery drivers or whatever their problem is, it was their decision. Now this chain opens up across from the same shop and starts providing delivery services. Now people who want to order, let's say, who don't want to go out of the house, let's say right now, we are being told to go back in, masks on. Again, let's say people are scared, they don't want to go. Now this business has just tapped into that market segment where people were looking to get their chicken delivered and the other business was not offering it. So studying on your own weaknesses will help you identify what other businesses actually can do in the future as well against you. So that's a very good exercise in that one. So we have done opportunities, and I'm just going to do threats in the end. Threats depends on an industry and how big the industry is, how active the industry is, how volatile the industry is. Threats can be internal in an industry or external in an industry. Let's say internal threats in an industry are your competitors, new products, new business lines, new methods of making, let's say, a product that just are way cost effective, and they can be too many. And let's look at external threats. External threats are more economic threats and macro threats, macro level. They can be anything from an economy going down, inflation rate rising, banks going bust. Like right now, we are in a, let's say, stage 3 of pandemic. Again, we're being told to work from home. So these are threats, external threats a business has no control over. They cannot see it. They cannot identify it, because at the end of the day, this is out of their globe. It is out of their sphere. It happens outside, but it affects the whole country, or let's say the whole people. But it won't be just localized to you. So that's why you can't predict the macro threats, but internal threats, they are something that you should watch out for, because at the end of the day, these threats can level up very quickly and affect your business. Has anybody got any more questions?
Rahib, I was just going to ask you to do a very quick recap on that and what you called it.
Okay.
I'm just aware some colleagues on the call may not have come across this previously. So if you could just do a very quick recap on what that was, please, and the acronym.
That's fine. It was, should I write it down? SWOT analysis.
Oh, that would be good. So it's called a SWOT analysis.
Yes.
strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Yes, exactly. Trend. Right. Basically, this is an exercise that you should do every now and often just to see if anything has changed. I'll repeat myself again in that sense because this is a very good exercise. When you do this, you're basically analyzing your strength for the business. It can be yours as well in a sense, but for a business, we will be looking at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Let's say when we talk about strengths are what's in your business, what the business is bringing to the table, why is it good, and why it will work. Everything that makes your business unique. It's something that, let's say, the other business doesn't have. Because if they had it, then obviously there won't be a difference between you and their business. So it needs to be something unique to you. Maybe exceptional level of customer service, or just being really good at technical stuff. Whatever it is, it will be unique to you, and it will depend on the business you're doing and what you're doing. Let's jump on to weaknesses. Now, weaknesses will be, you will analyze your business and see gaps in your businesses. Let's say you're looking for how could another competitor take advantage of your weaknesses. Like for that, I gave an example of the chicken shop not doing deliveries. So think about it. If the chicken shop not doing delivery, that's a weakness for that chicken shop. But if a second person comes into the market, sees that chicken shop, he sees a weakness in that chicken shop and he takes advantage of that, uses that, starts doing deliveries, and this delivery service becomes his strength. So one weakness, a weakness in one business can become a strength on a second business. It's interchangeable. Then we come to opportunities. Opportunities are literally opportunities that you need to take advantage of, or somebody hasn't taken advantage of in a market. It's about things that are happening in the market that you can identify and you can see you can make money over there. Let's say like on this page, we can see there's put down market gap, a segment of a market that nobody's catering to. Well, that's a completely untouched market. And if you go into it, obviously you're going to make money because nobody has tapped into that market. So it will depend what is the opportunity. Let's say if you're opening a barbershop, you open a barbershop in an area where there's no barbershop within 3-mile radius. That's it. You are serving to customers who don't have a barbershop nearby and they have to go out of the town. So that way, as soon as you open a new shop, obviously you will get people who didn't know about it and who don't want to travel. They don't want to go for like, let's say a 5-mile drive just to get a haircut. They want to just walk down the road and get your haircut. Those kind of things. So then it's an exercise you should do at the start and then review it back just to see if anything has changed. Because at the end of the day, things can move from your strength box to your weaknesses box as well. It will depend. So you will need to make sure you're on top of it and your strengths don't become your weaknesses. And it's better to convert your weaknesses into your strengths. Because at the end of the day, if you have a weakness in your business, your competitor can take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And in the last, we have threats. Threats are, I'll define them internal and external. Internal threats are within the industry, within your business. It can be anything. It can be a competitor launching a new product, new line. Let's say technology going out of date. You can't use the methods that you used to use. Now you would need to invest into new health and safety things. All those kind of could be anything. So it will depend what threats an industry is facing. Let's say recently we've had the fishing laws change because of Brexit. Now all the fishing industry, they're struggling because they can't export their live fishes to Europe because they get stuck at the border. And because they're getting stuck at the border, they're spending too much time just sitting there and not treating their markets fresh enough. So because obviously their audience and their customer base is not getting fresh fish and like whatever other seafood they're supplying, they're not going to buy or pay the same price for stale fishes. So it's affecting their business inherently. And it's a threat that, let's say it's an external threat, but they didn't oversee, they couldn't see it. They thought they were oblivious to it, that people might not buy our fish. They might go somewhere else, but that's something they didn't think about. They were confident of thinking, no, we'll get our fish to them, whatnot. But here we are. Any questions?
Yeah, it was just a comment actually, right? Because of course, when COVID hit, a lot of people saw that as being a threat.
Yes.
But I quite like the way how you also explained as well that actually a threat can also be an opportunity.
Yes.
And that's what a lot of people, you know, with the entrepreneurial minds, they saw COVID as an opportunity for doing things differently and actually for using this as a business opportunity.
Yes, exactly. Because if you look at it, every time a business or a person or anything, we are faced with a new threat that we have never encountered before, it pushes us to take a step back because we're not used to it. We're not familiar with it. And whenever we take a step back, I think we should calm down and not panic. We should stay slow, think about it. What is it and why it happened? Because at the end of the day, every problem, every threat is an opportunity in disguise. At the end of the day, you're not just looking at it from the right angle. Like when COVID hit, people were pushed back into houses. Everybody locked in. They're not allowed to go out, not work, you know, where they're supposed to work, open up shops and whatever, no more restaurants. And if you look at it over these past, 20 months, tech industry has boomed like crazy. Everything else went down, but tech usage went up like 100-folds. Online meetings, online products, online services, anything you do is now kind of available online. You can get whatever you need just from a computer. People saw that opportunity that, yes, everybody can't go out legally. So it's not even by a personal choice. You were legally allowed, you were legally told to stay in. That is why people know, because this is a law, it can change as well. But then again, when people start getting used to it, they get a taste of sitting at home and working from home. They might not want to go back to their old lives. They might want to change stuff. That's why businesses started focusing on, different kind of tactics, work, and you can work from home as well, and office as well, or have different mix of hours and stuff. Excuse me. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, sorry, Rahib, that's really good actually, and that positivity as well is quite inspiring. So yes, thank you for that.
No worries. I thought I broke up a bit. Yes, so COVID has helped a lot of new businesses come forward, show us different ways of doing things, and how we're not, at the end of the day, we're not bound by our old ways, and innovation always comes when we're threatened. Because at the end of the day, once we get comfortable, we tend to stick to those ways and we don't want to change things. Comfortable is the enemy of innovation. So that's one thing, COVID pushed us out of our comfort zones, made things uncomfortable for people where people didn't realize, okay, we've been doing things in that manner. How do we need to do it in a different way now? A lot of businesses, well, they couldn't deal with it. Like a lot of restaurants, they shut down because at the end of the day, they had invested so much in their premises, and that premises became unusable. They couldn't use it because at the end of the day, that premise was the USP, the unique selling point. You would go to a restaurant for an ambience. How would you feel, just to be catered, just to be pampered in a restaurant. But now their unique selling point has become a threat to their own existence. You see how an opportunity can become a threat on its own? It just moved from an opportunity box to a threat box. Now they're stuck paying for rent for a place they can't use, they can't invite people, they can't have gathering, yet they're stuck in that situation because they've signed a contract and they can't get out of it. So they will pay rent for as long as their contract runs, but not be able to make money out of that place. Anybody got any more questions?
No, that's okay.
Let's say this is a page of business overview concept. business concept, like it says, business concept. It's just telling people what your business is about. What do you want? What are you doing? Why, let's say, why should they come to you instead of your competitor? What makes you different from the next door guy who's doing the same thing? Let's say if you were to take shoes, what would make Nike different from Adidas? What's the difference? They're both shoes at the end of the day, but there might be something that Nike might be doing differently than Adidas might be doing. And that is like a very key thin line that you need to see. They are sneakers. They both make trainers, but at the end of the day, they're different. They're not the same. Adidas, they're like certain people go for Adidas and certain people go for Nike. And you do find big loyal customer audience for both of these brands at the end of the day. Yet they look similar. They're not that distinguishable in the sense that they provide apparel and footwear in the same industry. Yet they have very strong positions with very strong market bases, and the concept is the same as well. Like on this end, we can see these guys, they're going to use our next generation data architecture. We help organizations virtually manage agile workflows. We thrive because of our market knowledge and the great team behind our product. In this sense, as you can see, these guys are dependent on technology, and they're telling you that because they use high tech technology and stuff, they will make your organization faster. Whatever workflow you're doing, let's say getting files onto your people, communicating with each other, managing teams, delivery of reports and all those kinds, just to speed up the processes, because there can be quite a lag from thinking and execution. So they just want to speed up process and save time. Basically, efficiency and productivity is what they're selling. The concept is business efficiency, because at the end of the day, if you make a business efficient and productive, it's going to save money. It's going to result in cost savings as well for the business. So that's what they're trying to solve. So when you come up with your business plan, think of it a concept trying to be catchy, or let's say a 20-second pitch in which you're trying to convert one of your let's say one person into a customer. 20 to 30 seconds. How can you turn someone into a customer? Think about it from that point of view. In that question, okay, you only got 20 to 30 seconds to pitch whatever your product or service is to someone, and they need to make a decision within the 30-second window. So you need to convert them within the 30-second window. So it should be that good, not excessive, not talking about a lot of things, very concise, yet delivering the message that you need to send. Let's jump on to the next window. Okay. This links to your finance as well. Let me show you. This is a timeline, a 12-month period showing what you have planned. Let's say this is a planning stage exercise. It gives the reader an idea what and how you see happening in 12 months going forward. What would happen? What should happen? In what time frame should happen? This tells the person reading your business plan if and how efficient you are, and if you can get things done on time as well. Because at the end of the day, this timeline will be your control. You will go back to it and see if you have achieved these dates and deadlines. Let's say, draft blueprints should be done by February 20th. So if you have put it down, it should have been done by then. If it's not, then that highlights your problem. And at the end of the day, you need to resolve those problems, because it doesn't look good when you're going to someone and tell them, okay, I've put on a deadline for February 20XX, but I wasn't able to achieve it, because then it will push other things across the head. It will push May 20XX into June, October into November, and so on and so on. So it just drags along the whole timeline and it doesn't look good, especially at the starting stage when you're pitching your business plan to the people. Plus, it gives an idea to the people as well that you have thought about, let's say, the first couple of years of your business. You've sat down, you've thought about what can happen, how can you do things? How can you counter the problems you see? That's because at the end of the day, you will need to have a contingency plan as well. What if things don't go accordingly? What if you can't get customers? And what if you can't get clients? You would need to have a contingency plan, because at the end of the day, if you're starting up on your own, you're investing a lot of your time and your resources, and it's the success will completely depend on you at the end of the day. If you can't basically run your own run your bills on your house, then you will be struggling. And if you're struggling, your business is going to be struggling. So the end user needs to be confident enough that you are going to be financially stable, and the business is going to run financially stable as well. At the end of the day, they don't see any financial hiccups in your personal life and in the business. And that's all. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah. Jump on to next.
No, I think that's fine, Rahib.
Perfect. Okay. These are, well, the concise financials, let's say, first year, second year, third year, fourth year. This is a 4-year forecast of what this person expects, how much growth do they expect, and how much they roughly expect to make, gross revenue and net revenue, to give an idea to the user. Okay, look, this is how much we're going to be making, and this is the net revenue that we're going to be getting. Let's say if this guy went to a bank, the bank will be quickly able to tell if they can afford a loan, if they came down for a loan, because at the end of the day, they can look at this figure and say, oh, you're going to be left with 7,000 the first year, 16, 25, 30. So this will give them a rough idea just to think, okay, if it's feasible just by looking at it or not. If it's not feasible, they will just reject the loan, because they'll be like, if you can't afford it, we can't give it to you, because it will be a very bad decision from a banking point of view. Now, let me show you the next table. This is a bit more detailed version. Same things. Let's say, not sure if a lot of you have seen like financial statements, profit and loss, income statements, but normally they look like this. Just to give an idea, like this business, you can see they expect to have like around 50,000 users in the first year, $10 per sale, or roughly, yeah. Sorry. Which is up to 500,000, average sale price is 75, revenue is 15%, 56250. Now expensive, they have put down expensive because at the end of the day, whatever business you run, whether it's a service industry or a product, you will be incurring costs, and you need to know where you're putting your money and what are your bigger costs and what can you cut down as well. Because at the end of the day, if you know how much you're spending, where you're spending, it will be harder to control your costs at the end of the day. Plus, you will need to have an idea on your business plan, like roughly over the next 2 years, how much you will be spending on, let's say, sales and marketing, customer service, product development, and research. Once you have these figures broken down, you can see maybe you can tweak down some of them, bring them down, bring the cost down on some of them, or find a better deal, because it gives you an idea, okay, this is roughly how much I will be spending over the year 1, year 2, year 3. And another thing, like we were discussing previously, competitor analysis, going to your competitors and seeing how much they're spending, what they are doing, and how they're doing business. That will give you another idea as well. If they're spending more or less, why is that? If they're spending more, is it better quality, or they're just paying extra? Or let's say if they're spending less, is it cheaper quality, or have they got a good deal? Depends. It will just scratch your head and it will bring out different questions. Why let's say, why am I spending this much and why the other person is spending this much? So once you open the door, the question will just come to you and you will see points where to hit. Has anybody got any more questions? Okay. Let's jump on to the next page.
Rahib, just whilst you're doing that, I just want to ask a very quick question here.
Yep.
So, as I mentioned, I know there are people on the call today who are looking at setting up a very simple online business.
Okay.
Again, would you always do a simple financial table and some forecasting?
Yes. Yes, it will be good, because at the end of the day, let's say, if you look at over here, year 1 and year 2 and year 3, this person has forecasted that, let's say, he's going to get 50,000 users within year one. It can be, let's say, he looked at businesses similar to his in his industry and saw them gaining 50,000 users within the first year. And he said, okay, they got 50,000 users. I'm going to aim for 50,000 users as well. Or it could be that he has seen his user database grow and he expects it to grow at a certain rate and it will hit 50,000 by year one. So it depends how he got the figure of 50,000. But back to the question, let's say you start an online business and you see you don't know where to start. You're thinking, okay, how do I get people and how do I get customers? Let's say you will look at businesses similar to yours in the same industry, whatever industry, it can be same industry, clothes, food, whatever, similar industry, and how are they operating and how are they operated in the first year? Because let's say if they're a registered company, the accounts are open-ended, so you can have a look at it and see, this is how much they made, just to give you an idea. And once you set that target on yourself as well, you can push yourself towards the target. Okay, I need to get this done by, because at the end of the day, this plan is not just a plan, it becomes your target as well. It becomes kind of your Bible for your business. You always go back to it and see, okay, I targeted this, have I achieved it? If you achieved over than that, that's great. If you didn't, then it will just probe you to question more. Why didn't I achieve those, 50,000 users? What and where did I go wrong? Was it my customer service or sales and marketing? Let's say whether it was the product, or maybe I didn't market it enough, didn't post enough ads, and didn't approach enough people just to get those user database.
That's fantastic. It really shows me it's a real working document.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Rahim.
No worries. Has anybody got any more questions?
Folks, I will encourage you, if you have got any questions, we've got a few minutes left. So please do raise your hand and ask the question, or alternatively, please do put that question into your chat panel there.
I'll jump on to the next slide.
Thank you.
I was going to say, I've had everything answered from my side.
Perfect.
That's super. Thank you.
Okay, risks and rewards. This is an interesting exercise as well, because at the end of the day, we just don't do businesses or we work for fun, we work for rewards. Whether we are doing a job, running our own businesses, at the end of the day, some sort of reward, whether it's financial, emotional, whatever it might be, we do it for some sort of reward at the end of the day. Otherwise, no business would work, or in theory, people don't work unless they're incentivized. So this shows the business what and why the business is operating in the market. And let's say in that market, what are the risks facing that business? What do you see? It's again similar to the SWOT analysis, but in this section, it just shows, gives you a contrast between the risks and the rewards. Let's say, if you read over here, the risks are new feature updates may not be popular with customers. That means you're going to bring a new update, but some people might not like it. Some people might even avoid your app. Let's say if it's an app, and if they don't like how it looks at it, they might just change. Let's say recently we looked at how WhatsApp tried to push a new feature a couple of months ago, and there was a big backlash. People started moving on to Telegram and different sort of products. So that's one of the risk factors. Let's say jump on to the second one. Lack of staffing in key roles could delay product launch. Okay, this is again a staffing issue affecting product, basically, again, just to do with the internal workings of the business. It's just highlighting what they're facing and what they accidentally might face in the future. So it's something to look forward to and keep an eye on, because at the end of the day, if you know this might pop up in the future, you can already start prepping for it, start advertising roles, look for people, start interviewing people, just so that when the time comes, you already have somebody who can take on the job. Third point is product will have more features which may require additional learning for customers. Okay, that means basically like people would have to read and relearn the software again and try to retrain them basically. So this might put off some people, because at the end of the day, right now, a lot of people must have seen whatever we use, it keeps getting updated. They keep adding new features and new trinkets. And sometimes we need to train ourselves again how to use software. Like if if you look at it, we've been using Microsoft Office for like so long. If you look at it, Microsoft Office 95 was very basic. Then we had 2000, 2016. So everywhere we get new Microsoft Office versions, and they keep updating it at the end of the day. And right now we've got two versions, 365 and an enterprise version. 365 is a bit online based, and it's got a bit more features than the enterprise version, but the enterprise version is not online, it's not cloud. So it stays on your PC, and basically you don't need to be connected to a network to use that. And that is more secure for big enterprises who don't want to go, or who don't want to move on to the cloud, who don't want their data moving onto the cloud because they're not satisfied or they're not convinced that it will be safe. Let's look at the reward side. One second. First on the market, let's say you started an app that nobody has launched. You're the first person to introduce it. Nobody else has done it. So as soon as you launch, like if the first product in the market, that will put the whole focus on you. But then again, it will also, if something goes wrong, it will be highlighted through a magnifying glass. Because at the end of the day, when you're just a single business in a new market, everybody's focused on you. Everybody's looking at you, what you do, what you don't do. Because at the end of the day, whoever's watching you, it's not necessarily the customers or news or whatever. It can be a competitor, a new competitor, or a new entrant, just looking at your business to see what you do, how do you do, what do you do wrong, what do you do right, just to get enough information and data out of you so that they don't have to go in and test the waters. They're using you as an example just to test the waters. Second one, good publicity for the product so far, and we can build momentum for that scenario. Again, marketing, if you can build a product hype and enough warmth in the market for your product, then things get pushed on slowly. If you look at market, how people, let's say, I've got a very good example right now. If you look at movies, how movies come out with the teaser and trailers, that's a very good example. They slowly release teaser when they only start shooting. And as they move nearer to the release date, they start launching bigger trailers, longer trailers. They start doing like, in-show promotions, showing adverts between in America, between NFL, because they know that's the highest viewing majority, and they're just pushing and using that momentum as a streamline. If you look at a graph, it's just going to go up. They're pushing it till the release date so that they have got enough interest vested and nobody loses interest in that sense. And then we got product testing and highly clients have shown no issues. Okay, that means these guys just tested their products with the biggest client they have, the bigger clients, which basically provide them with much of their given funds for the business, because at the end of the day, they're high-paying clients, and as long as the high-paying clients have no issues with the product and they're happy and they're going to continue supporting your business, it does show that you will continue in the foreseeable future. You don't see any issues as long as your biggest clients are happy with the service you're providing. Then you can carry on as normal. Anybody got any more questions? I'll jump onto the last page. Key issues. Okay, this page you will highlight. Let's say you can delete this as well if there are no issues. You're just starting up, but let's say if you're in the business and you're starting up and you do see some issues in that sense, let's say you can see going forward. Let's say if we think of January this year, when we were in lockdown, we were not in lockdown, but you could see we were going to go into lockdown. It could have been a longer term issue or a near term issue at the end of the day, because we were in unprecedented times. COVID was here, but we didn't know what to do, whether we were being locked up, putting on furlough, whatever. There are a lot of things going on, but some people had an idea, like, investors in different markets, they had a feeling that this might affect it. This might affect businesses in a different way, in big manner. Like recently, if you look at it, last week, we heard about the Omicron virus from South Africa. And if you look at it, as soon as it was announced, quite a big stock exchanges took hit. Because what happens is investors predict these events as affecting the whole market, and when the whole market gets affected, they know the sales are going to down, customers are not going to buy, people are going to be scared, and people are scared. They don't tend to operate as normally as they used to do. And when you're afraid, you just go into a bubble and you don't contribute into the economy. That's what happened, and mostly in the most countries, people are not spending as they would normally spend. They were just scared. They didn't know what would happen the next day. So that affects the decision they're making, the products they're buying, the services they're buying. In that sense, these become long-term and near-term issues. Long-term, you can even push them, let's say, going down 2 years or 3 years. It can be to replace capital intensive machinery that you're not going to do it now, but you know it's going to come to you in a couple of years' time when your machines and whatever things you're using for, let's say, your product development, it's going to come to an end of its life and you would need to replace it. It becomes a long-term issue again. So it will depend. What do you see as a close or issue to you, near-term issue, let's say, that needs to be fixed quickly, and a long-term issue that you keep on the side, but you stay focused that this will need looked into in a certain amount of time. Does anybody have any more questions?
No, I think that's fantastic. That is, honestly, Rahib. I feel like we could just stay on this call all day because there is so much to learn about this, isn't there?
Oh yeah, we can talk long.
I mean, we are running, well, we have run out of time now. So yes, I'm going to ask you to just close the session off. So thank you so much for joining us with this.
No worries. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone.
And thank you, Rahib. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And I think really what we've learned today is, a simple business plan. It can help you to clarify your business idea. It can help you to spot any potential problems as well. Set out your goals and measure your progress. And I feel like we need a follow-on from this as well. So thank you so much for doing that for us today, Rahib. It's really, really inspired us and got our brains thinking again.
No worries. I will drop a few files for you guys so that you can read them up as well in your later time and use them as a template if you need to write down a plan.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely super. Thank you. And also, everyone, I've also put an additional link into the chat panel as well for our Zoho survey. So please do make sure you do click on that and complete that and let us have some feedback on the session. And of course, we have our final one before the new year as well, which is scheduled for next week. So please do join us again on that. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day. And please make sure you stay safe, stay well, and have yourself a good break. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.